Hey everyone, welcome to today's Program Yourself Thin podcast. Today we're talking about the grit to lose weight. And if you want to lose weight, you're going to have grit and perseverance to get there. Right? You're going to have the intestinal fortitude to battle through the challenges, the difficulties, the setbacks, all the usual cliches. But it's really important. And I think if you identify this as a component of your weight loss, it helps you out, because I think a lot of people just kind of assume, well, I'm going to have to do the right thing. And they just assume that they're going to be able to meet the moment with the proper amount of willpower. And I think we need to kind of see it as a thing that we can develop. There's a great book. And the reason, I would say the inspiration for this conversation right here is that we just did a lesson yesterday in the Thrive program on grit by Angela Duckworth. And again, great book. Can't recommend it enough. I think it's really good. And it's a deep dive into grit. And the reason I think that's so important is I think a lot of times we just assume we either kind of have grit or we don't. We either stick with things or we don't. We got willpower or we don't. And I think it's important to recognize you can learn about these things. You can learn how to develop grit. So for example, she breaks grit down into two components, passion and perseverance, which I think is a wonderful way to break it down, because you can go to work now in both of those, specifically the passion piece too. I think that's a piece that a lot of people overlook. You just assume you're really motivated, really assume you just want to lose the weight more than anything. And you just expect that you're going to be able to show up with this amazing amount of willpower and grit and focus and determination. But that's a lot of times not how it is. If you've never learned kind of how to have grit, how to stick with things, how to persevere, how to develop passion, cultivate passion, then you're going to be at a huge disadvantage. So the beauty is that you can step into a lot of these concepts, but certainly the idea of grit, you can dive into it. And that book's a great way to do it. And you can start to develop something that a lot of people are just kind of going with whatever they just automatically have at the beginning. And if you start to break it down and develop the components of it, you can tremendously improve your grit, your ability to stick with things, which is probably one of the most important factors of your weight loss. You're going to hit challenges. There's no doubt about it. I know sometimes in our mind, we want to think we're going to start the diet on day one and we're just going to have amazing results the entire way. But that's not how it goes. I don't say that to be depressing. I don't say it to bum you out. I say it because it's the truth and we need to prepare for it. And the sooner you prepare for it and start to develop this, when it comes to your weight loss, the sooner you can take advantage of it. And I think that's a key thing. So again, I'm not going to go too deep into it. You can get the book Grit, which is great. We just talked about it. But again, one of the key things I'd mention is the concept of developing passion and perseverance. And you can develop both of those. In terms of passion, you can really take a real clear look at what you're looking to accomplish and why. Why is your weight important to you? Why is making this happen really a focus of yours? Because if you're not crystal clear on that, if you haven't given this process a ton of meaning, then you're going to struggle, because you're not going to have the same level of importance to it, the same level of meaning that you would if you did this kind of work. So you can develop passion intentionally by looking at certain questions and focusing your mind on why you want to do this. What benefits you're going to get out of really mastering your weight and becoming the person you want to be. And then on the perseverance side, I think a lot of that's strategy, so I think sometimes people mistake perseverance by just always pushing. But, to me, I think there's a ways to understand that. I certainly, back when I only knew about dieting, I was always trying to fight against myself. So the amount of perseverance and effort was tremendous. Then I learned you could be strategic and not have to rely just on willpower. You could train your mind. You could come up with better strategies and situations that support you. So you didn't need so much willpower. You didn't need so much perseverance. So you started using it strategically. And so, yes, there's absolutely times when you got to persevere and push through. But intentionally, when I'm approaching my weight, I'm intentionally looking to minimize that. I want to set this up to be as easy and automatic as possible. And I think very few people do this with their weight loss. I think they go into it assuming, they got the willpower they got and they're going to follow the plan they always follow, and they just have to do it perfectly this time. And so there's not a lot of room for improvement. There's not a lot of room for growth and evolution there. And so again, if we break it down into initially passion and perseverance, you can develop both of those pieces pretty considerably. And once you do that, your chance of success with losing weight goes way up because you now have a much clearer sense of passion and the motivation from that. And you have more strategic perseverance that is set up for you to succeed as well. And so again, if you focus on these for a little bit of time, it can really fundamentally change your progress and your path moving forward. So I hope this helps you out. And if you want some, go deeper into kind of this concept and get some support with it, click the link in my bio, go get the free hypnosis session, watch the video I made for you, and read the emails I send you. They'll all help you out to do this. But if you have any questions, feel free to ask them. I already see that Instagram is frozen up. So I won't be getting any questions from Instagram today, unfortunately. Any people that ever watch or listen to this on Instagram, I would suggest probably checking out YouTube. YouTube's probably the best quality broadcast that I think you can get. But yeah, any questions are welcome. And they don't have to be questions about programming yourself. Then they can be any questions about weight loss or eating or emotional eating or anything having to do with your weight at all. Jed says, hi, Jim. Interesting theme today. I feel like grit and PYT is more like patience and diet and grit is willpower. Yeah, agreed. I definitely, I think that distinction's very insightful and true. And again, for me, that I think that's such a great, Jen's in the program, so she knows she's talking on a deeper level here, but the idea of like putting effort and energy into being more patient, to developing and cultivating patience. Again, I almost did a lesson today talking about the soft skills of weight loss and ultimately living at your goal weight. Because I think weight loss is almost exclusively, like literally like 100% of weight loss is the hard skills, right? Every weight loss plan out there is telling you what to do, what to eat, how to exercise, calories. It's telling you what to do, giving you the plans, and here you go. Right. But then you're left on your own with this plan, and it's up to you to try and force yourself to follow the plan, get yourself to do it. And this is the part that never changes. See, this is if you want to see every single diet through the exact same lens, the reason every diet is the same and doesn't work, right? And there's not one successful diet ever. There's not one diet that's risen to the top. The closest is Weight Watchers, and it has nothing to do with their diet philosophy. It has to do with their social component. But if you look at every single diet, what you'll notice is it's always the same process, right? So the details differ, right? I mean, you could be vegan, you could be carnivore, right? So that's the full spectrum of options available to you, and everything in between. But what's always the same, if you're vegan or whether you're carnivore, the same thing in the diet world is that you're going to jump into either of them 100%. Starting tomorrow, no meat. Starting tomorrow, no vegetables, right? And so that's the diet thing, is that you just jump into it 100%. And again, you jump into it 100% because you have no patience, right? You just want to lose weight as fast as possible. So you choose the most extreme things. So I think it's important that, we do develop patience, throughout this process. Realize, and it's not hard to develop patience. It's not easy. I wouldn't say it's always, we want things now, but the easiest way to develop patience is to start thinking of this process differently. And I can start that process by asking you, how long would you like to live at your goal weight for? Now, I know you're saying forever. Of course, you want to live at your goal weight for the rest of your life. But when you think about weight loss, really what you're thinking about is just losing the weight. And you're doing extreme, unsustainable things to make that happen. You can't stick with them, and you put the weight back on. And you just keep repeating the cycle. So again, I think one of the best ways to develop grit and program yourself then is to develop patience. And a big part of that is by changing the way you think of this process, starting to realize it's not just about losing weight, it's about living at your goal weight. And that distinction is fundamental. Yeah. Yeah. And you're right. I think you just summed it up, Jen. I think that's perfect because yeah, and dieting grit is willpower. That's kind of what I was talking about, the perseverance piece. So I think you got exactly what I was attempting to say there, that grit in a diet framework is really, again, just willpower, just forcing yourself to do things you do not want to do, that you're fighting against. And in Program Yourself, then we're aiming to work with ourselves. We don't want to fight against ourselves forever. We want to transform ourselves so that we're the type of person that thinks, lives, and eats like a naturally thin and healthy person. And once we've done that, now we can live at our goal weight for the rest of our lives on near autopilot. That's the goal. And so the process from dieting is fundamentally different because with dieting, you're looking to just go to war with yourself, right? It's just that you declaring war on yourself and that's it. From now on, we're going to eat this way. Now we're going to do this. See? And the whole time it's you basically having to fight against yourself to get yourself to do it. Program Yourself then is a much different philosophy where we're relaxing. Calm down. Take a deep breath if you want to. And realize that a much better strategy to lose weight would be to operate from this place. Relax, calm down. Get to know yourself. Get to understand yourself. Understand your habits and your routines, your thought patterns, your lifestyle. Understand your eating habits and behaviors you have. And then go to work on fundamentally, strategically, systematically changing them. Not all at once, strategically, intelligently, in a way that has a high chance of success. That is the path that we're following here in Program Yourself Thin, and it's literal opposite direction than dieting. And I get on there every day to try and plead my case that I think it's a much better approach. And again, if you think I'm crazy and you think diets are better, let me know. Let me know. I'm itching for a fight. I have not anyone, no one argues with me anymore. I don't know what's going on, but anyways. Ken says, hey, Jim, you haven't commented about redo rehearsal lately. The technique is the reason I've been able to make good eating decisions for the last 7 months. No, you're right, Ken. I know. I get like this. I get like, I get onto, it's so funny you notice that, Ken. Sharp dude. I think the reason that's happened probably for a month or two is I've been working on the blueprints. So in Program Yourself, then there's 3 components of the program. One's the Program Yourself Then technique of the redo rehearsal process Ken's talking about. Then there's the goal weight blueprints, your mindset, lifestyle, and eating blueprints that are customized to you, that are really your roadmap to get to your goal weight and live there. And then there's the hypnosis session or system, which it's a specific hypnosis program to kind of support the whole process. But yeah, I know. So you're right, Ken. And the reason I have not been talking about the redo rehearsal technique much is because I have been knee deep, waist deep in the blueprints. And that's what I've been working on for the last 2 months, 3 months. So yeah, my head's been there. But I know, yeah, obviously in the program, yeah, and that's next though. I'm so excited about that. I'm getting good now, I think. I'm starting to get good here. I put a book, I've got a book together. So it's a lot. It's a lot of stuff. And then I said, you know what? I'm going to do the blueprints, which are just like a real more refined version of the questions. And that's literally your kind of blueprint you go through the program with. But the blueprints I made better this time because they're laid out a lot better. But the big thing I did is I added some content in there, because before what you had to do with the program is you had to watch trainings and then answer the questions. And so this time here, I kind of consolidated that process. Just go through the blueprints, knowing you start there, go through them, you learn the whole thing, and just answer the questions. There's in-depth trainings if you want to watch those too, that go deeper dive into them. But so yeah, so that's what I've been working on a lot, and it's really good. It's so good. I know I've been teasing you all, and I know I'm a week later here than I said I was going to be, but it's going to be worth it. I promise you. I've been working on them every morning. I was just working on them today for 3 hours. Super good. And can't wait to get them. But the next piece that I'm working on is, because I have found that writing things down and working on it in text has been really helpful in refining the ideas and making them a lot flow better and just more systematic, is my thoughts on it. I'll find out when I get your all's opinion on it. But But yes, the next thing I'll be going into is the reader rehearsal. It's a little bit more refined teaching of that process. But yes, Kent's right. The whole program, again, even the blueprints, and this is why I will never sell the blueprints by themselves. Okay. Because I know people are going to want them. They're amazing. And I'm not going to lie. I looked at them and I said, geez, these are so good. I should just let people have these, but they won't matter. They won't matter if you can't program your own mind. If you don't know how to run your own mind, even these blueprints, even these customized blueprints are not, I think, going to let you master your weight. And I think the hypnosis piece is essential too. But the technique itself, which lets you run your own brain in a way that gets you and keeps you at your goal weight. If you don't know how to do that, I just don't even know how you would have any chance in hell of really mastering your weight. Because again, you could even have the blueprints that are the most perfect plan customized directly to you. But if you don't know how to install those and print those into your mind so that they start to run automatically, even then, I'm not sure. So yeah, you're right, Ken. The reader rehearsals is stuff. Proprietary technique. I've been using that one for over 30 years. That's what I began using to program my own mind to make me think, live, and eat like a thin, healthy person. And now I sit before you, and I've been doing it for over 30 years, but I sit before you as someone who has transformed the way that I think, transformed the way that I live, and transformed the way that I eat so completely that the choices I make naturally on autopilot are the ones that bring me right to my goal weight. And now they just keep me here. So the point I'm trying to make is that you all are so caught in the dynamic of thinking about being overweight and trying to lose the weight. You're always thinking about that weight loss phase, but you need to shift your focus over to living at your goal weight. And it may sound like the same thing to you. I hope it doesn't, because there's a completely different frame of reference when you think of it that way. And so, yeah, to be able to actually install these ideas that make you thin and healthy, you have to have a process to install them. Does that make sense? I'm not explaining it well, I don't think, but if you go to my bio, click the link and get the free hypnosis session, watch the video, you'll get a better idea of what I'm talking about here, because it's important. Basically, to me, let me put it as simple as I can, because it's not complicated. It's just ideas and concepts that we don't normally think in terms of hypnotic thinking, having a conscious and a subconscious mind, how to deal with your subconscious mind in an intentional way, right? These aren't ideas that we learn, so most people don't really understand them. So the simplest way for me to put it is that if you look at like the best habit you've ever installed into your mind is your toothbrushing habit, or at least one of the top ones. And you install this into your mind, or your parents installed it into you regardless, when you were a child. And now you have this forever habit, right? And it's such an elegant habit because it's not dependent on the specific time, right? So it's not like you have to do it at 6 in the morning. And then if you actually have 8 in the morning, you're not going to do it. It's set so that you do it. It's a relative habit, meaning you do it when you wake up, a few minutes after you wake up, a few minutes before you go to bed, a few minutes after you eat, that you have it set so that your brain automatically remembers to do it at certain times and intervals. And those intervals can be flexible. You can wake up at 5, 6, 8, 10, 2 in the afternoon, and you're still going to brush your teeth. Okay. So this is an example of how a habit can really benefit you, right? Because you took however long it took, and I don't know how long it took for you to create a toothbrushing habit. Maybe it took you a couple months, maybe it took you a couple years. I don't know. But you can't argue that that's been a tremendous return on investment for you, health-wise. Your teeth have really experienced the benefits of you having this toothbrushing habit. And so that's a subconscious behavior, right? You just do it on autopilot. Your subconscious mind is infinitely powerful. But when you try and lose weight, what you're trying to do is you're trying to use your conscious mind to micromanage and focus and make decisions about every single little thing you're going to do. And it trips you up. So what we want to do in Program Yourself Thin is we're building around your subconscious mind. And one of the core pillars of the program is you're learning how to program your subconscious mind to naturally and automatically do the things that get you and then keep you at your goal weight. And it's not as crazy as you think because you're already programmed. You're just programmed to be at the weight you're at now. Now, notice this for a second. I know a lot of people intuitively think, well, my weight just keeps going up and up and up. No, it doesn't. It may go up a couple pounds a year, but unless there's some outlier thing happening, most people's weight stays pretty stable, stays in the same ballpark. And that is because it's a reflection of your habitual behaviors. You're eating the same foods, the same amounts at the same times in the same places week after week after week. And it leads to you having your average goal weight because you're taking in an average amount of calories consistently. And your weight is a reflection of that average calorie consumption. So as you start to focus on the habitual nature of your behavior and start focusing on your subconscious mind and starting to transform and evolve and install and add the behaviors automatically that run that, again, get you and then keep you at your goal weight, that's a much better strategy. So you're right, Ken. I got to start talking about that. But I will begin talking about it more starting next week because, as I said, I am going to be diving into that next. And it might even be getting a rename. That's something I think about. But either way, it'll be explained even better. So I'm glad it worked for you. I didn't take it as a criticism, but yeah, I definitely think that it's true. I have not been talking about it, and I think very perceptive. All right, anyone else got questions? We'll go quiet room. That's fine. Got a lot of stuff to do, so I'm gonna get out of here. If you're not in my world, please click the link in my bio. Go get the hypnosis session. It's free. Watch the video I made for you. It's free. Read the emails. They're free. I'll send you the goal weight quiz at some point. That's free. All these things are free. I'm here to help you get your weight under control. So go check that out. I'm here live every Monday through Friday, usually around noon Eastern. If you want to ask any questions, pop in, feel free to ask them. And if you like listening to this, this is done every day and it's put up as a podcast. So it's a podcast at programyourselfthin.com. Is where you can go, and you can search Program Yourself Thin on any of the podcast platforms and find the podcast and listen to it. So, all right, everyone, have a super duper day and have a good day. Bye.